Hi guys, back with something a little bit different today, and I am back with some of my favorite guests. It's the guys from the Post 90s podcast. It's Adam and Justin. How you doing?
Good. Happy to be back. I think, we love the chat that we had way back when you were kind of just doing the discovery on NYCFC. So really happy to join you again.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fantastic.
definitely.
So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It's lovely to see you guys again. So this is something a little bit different, and you kind of almost, I was say unique, but you kind of almost unique. So it's there's not many clubs that I can do this with because NYCFC are one of the only ones that don't have a mascot, whatever it is that goes around the crowd and tries to make people smile and people can get behind or just throw things at and jeer. But yeah, you guys know what I'm talking about, and I just thought it'd be a fun experiment just to have a think about what it might be, what things are New York, what things are specifically NYCFC based, see where it goes effectively.
Yeah,
So,
I was gonna say I think it comes at a good time too because stadium renderings have come out, and I'm sure we'll talk about the pigeon, but it's like actually the icon or the mascot that represents us is a pretty hot topic within the community of fans at the moment.
Oh, fantastic! Because my first question was going to be: has it been talked about? Is it a thing
Oh
with,
yeah.
with NYCFC about what this should be?
Yeah, definitely. There's been polls, there's been discourse and everything on, what people think, and there's been pretty strong opinions on multiple sides. And I think there's maybe some things that we can bring to the table today that haven't even really been brought up yet, and kind of give our best go at it.
Awesome. That's fantastic. Yeah, obviously, yeah, it does come with the time where the stadium renderings are being drawn. Is there a final design yet, or are they just still sort of thinking about what it should look like?
I believe they released a video with at least pieces of the stadium that they definitely want, including things like the cube, which would be the entrance to the stadium, which I believe they said stand for some core values in terms of equality, fair play, which is going to be something along the lines of the Sphere in Vegas.
Oh wow.
But it's going to be a square exit entrance of screens that are going to equal on all sides and things like that. So I think that's going to be a big staple of the new stadium for sure.
That's fantastic. I love the fact that it is a New York thing, I think, but it's also something that threads through MLS, and this importance of progressive values and equality and everybody's equal and everybody's welcome comes through a lot on that. I don't know whether it's just soccer or whether it's just a city mentality. When you've got a melting pot like New York, it's going to happen that people will want to espouse those sort of values. Is that, do you think it's a New York thing? Do you think it's a soccer thing? Where do you think it's come from?
I think it's both. I
Yeah,
think, like you
both.
said, with the city being such a melting pot, and then you look at kind of soccer as a culture in general. When you look at supporter groups or just everybody kind of congregating together at stadiums, that in itself is a melting pot of so many different cultures and people coming together just to enjoy the same thing, which is always beautiful to see.
No, definitely, and I think the main thing is that the stadium and specifically the land that the stadium is going to be on, it's very important to not only the club but the city and everybody kind of moving these plans forward. That it's something that incorporates the community and also is not taken away from the community that was already there.
Yeah.
And definitely they want to be able to add something to the area,
Housing and
schools and things like that. And I think they said 13 different pitches for youth play and things like that. So there's definitely a lot of things that definitely represent New York as a whole, but kind of bring the idea in some of the philosophies around football as a whole around the world.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. So it's harking back to the culture, the history, but it's also thinking about elevating the place around it as well and helping the communities and that sort of stuff and that sort of involvement.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's been a part of the plans for a while to figure out how they can add in these supporting buildings around it, whether it's the housing that they're adding or, like we said, the schools that they're adding, the pitches, just to make sure that, again, the community does have a place to find themselves within the plans, but then also use the stadium as a community gathering point, whether concerts or I mean, there's a million different things that happen in the city every single day. So having that extra venue for people to show up and congregate at is a great thing for Queens.
That's fantastic. That's going to be a massive thing, actually. Yeah, I really love that. Has it got a name yet?
No. Well, so I think in the renderings it's labeled as sponsor stadium.
Or
so,
naming sponsor rights stadium.
Right.
So they're going to need to raise some money from someone to.
Yeah. Well, fans wanted to crowdfund money just to try to keep it like the meme of like naming sponsor rights fund, but obviously that's not going to happen.
Well, with City Football Group, you're probably going to get maybe Etihad, some iteration of that. Or maybe Dude Wipes. Maybe it's Dude Wipe Stadium. Who knows?
That would be fantastic. I love that. Yeah, the crowdfunding idea is a really fun one, though. If they could get on board with that, I don't know how much it would take, but that would be great. Wouldn't it? Yeah, these guys aren't dealing in in thousands, are they?
No, I don't think they're dealing in millions.
Absolutely serious. Okay, so we're talking about what this might be. So my sort of stupid opinion, obviously the pigeon. We talked about the pigeon last time. I drew a pigeon on your thumbnail for the last video as well. We also talked about the nomadic quality of NYCs. Obviously, we will have a stadium soon, but there's been that. So maybe I was thinking, it could be some sort of nomad or wanderer or an animal that does that as well. Maybe the Big Apple. That was another one of the thoughts. What do you guys think? Or your ideas, opinions, or ones you've heard from other fans as well?
I think there's been a lot that have kind of gone around the community as they've, the people that dislike the pigeon have kind of found or congregate on other ideas. Funny enough, New York State has a bird called the Eastern bluebird, and it is literally our colors. Like its coat kind of on the back is blue, and then it has like a bright orange belly, which is literally, and then I think everything in between is all white, and it's like that is literally what we are.
Yeah, strangely, almost completely on the nose.
Yeah.
In terms of colors and already being chosen as the state bird.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's definitely a fun one to kind of play around with.
Yeah.
And people, so I guess the reason we can kind of share some of the valid thoughts behind why people may dislike the pigeon, and it's just that pigeons aren't unique to the city. If you go to any major city, you're going to find them, and that I think has been the driving force of disliking it.
But the positive side of it is when we were walking around, the outside of the home opener yesterday, we see pigeons flying in and out of the stadium, and it's very much, it's a visual cue that you are at the stadium, that you're about to watch, an NYCFC match or New York City Football Club match is what the media wants us to start saying.
Yeah, and I mean, pigeons are brilliant because I think I can't remember where I heard this, but I think they were originally domesticated birds that were just massively overpopulating, and there's loads of different species of them. So you see different ones. You see white ones, you see ones with big plumage, you see just massive ones, you see smaller ones. I think they were all just sort of slightly different breeds, which also sort of feeds into the melting pot idea of everybody's a little bit different, but we're all the same kind of thing. So it's a nice representation, right?
Yeah, and I think a part of like the branding too, it is such a general thing, but I think there's a ton of sports teams that have general names. Like even in New York, you have the Jets. Like every city has Jets. Every Giants, or the Brooklyn Nets. Like every basketball team is playing with Nets. But I think if you take something general like that and you make it your own and you make the connection that pigeon equals NYCFC, when you see the pigeons out and about in other places across the nation, like that's where your mind goes. I know us on away days, we saw pigeons at Charlotte. And, it's easy enough to take a picture and be like, the pigeons have arrived. Like, we're here to play the game. And it's not just the team, that the pigeons are there too. And, yeah.
I love that. That's kind of magic, actually. Yeah, because then you can use it all over the place. But not everyone can do that. You're not going to get, the Miami heron coming into, being seen in, the middle of Brooklyn. It's not going to happen, sort of thing. So, I like that. That's a really nice thing. So, would you guys personally? Would you be happy with the pigeon, or are you not fans? What do you think?
I think I've kind of grown almost used to pigeon being associated with a New York City Football Club. It's just always been a thing. Specifically, Michael Allen, Blue City Radio. Every single game day, he tweets out, "Let's go Pigeons," or "Fly Pigeon Fly."
And it's the same GIF.
It's the same one every single time, and that's kind of like it gets me into the mentality to watch a game. Like that's a big part of game day for me. So I would be more than happy. I think as a kid, even you see movies, and New York was very much associated with pigeons and walking through parks and seeing pigeons and things like that. So it makes complete sense to me. But I think there are other ones that maybe be a little bit more fun and kind of bring kids into it and things like that. So I could definitely see change. I would be happy with change as well.
That's really interesting. Yeah, the Home Alone's the one that I think of initially. That's the first one with the lady with the feeding the pigeons, and that's really iconic to me. I guess part of childhood. That's always going to be a powerful one for me. But I really like the idea of the state bird as well, though, with those colours. But that's kind of coincidence. But yeah, it would need some PR. It would need some sort of ingraining to go, this is what it is and this is why. Whereas the pigeon, it's just there. Everybody knows already. That's a New York thing. That is a symbol. So yeah, I think that would be the easier one to sort of go with on that. And then you could just shout "Go Birds" as well, which is a fun thing to shout. That's a one from many different sports, isn't it? But it's I think there's a lot of similarities in that.
And the club they've already done a lot of things, nothing, I guess, official, but in every broadcast that people have heard almost for the past 10 years now, it's been the pigeons. We have a kit. I think our newest kit has a little like icon of a pigeon actually printed on it, like actually embroidered on it. Yeah, there's a few of them that have it. So it's hard to pull away, I think, from what they've already invested in, especially from their point of view. If they feel like they like it, they've already developed the resources into it. So
yeah, I was going to bring that up actually, because I seem to remember that from our first chat. You mentioned about the texture of one of the shirts had the pigeons inside it. So yeah, okay, I think that's getting ingrained already. So okay, well, we'll take a pigeon forward, if that's all right with you guys. For the next stage, we'll say pigeon's what we're going with. Although I am tempted by that bluebird as well, the Eastern bird. I guess that's too weirdly specifically correct, isn't it? But all right, we'll go with pigeon now first of all. So obviously this pigeon's going to be anthropomorphized. It's going to need a person to go in it. It's going to be a big goofy costume of the pigeon in the shirt. But what else? Is it going to have, I don't know, like an NY hat? Or what do you think might be other emblems or something wearable that it should be holding or wearing or having with it?
I don't want to go too generic, but it does seem, worldwide as something that's recognized as like a New York thing, which would be the Timbs. The Timbs, it was a meme for a while.
Yeah.
All memes come from a place of kind of reality. And, that's something that you really do see.
It would be really fun to see them huge as well, like on the mascot. It would be amazing.
And it would it'd probably have to wear a jersey too.
Yeah, jersey, and maybe
a beanie or I think the Yankees hat is like such a nod to New York, and I'm sure there's
ownership and everything.
Yeah, the ownership too, but I'm sure there's a lot of crossover between New York City FC fans too that are Mets fans that might not love it. But I think people around the world, they wear the Yankees hat and they may have no interest in baseball or sports in general, but I don't know if it functions as just a symbol of America at this point or just the culture of New York City. But that feels like something you could get away with having the mascot wear.
Yeah, no, I think so. I think there's the Dodgers one. I think it's the other one that's iconic. Those two are kind of just the Americana cultural touchstones. I've got both of them. I was just over here. My collection of hats over here. So yeah, it's definitely something that's big there. Would you go for something like that, like a cap, or would it be the beanie like you mentioned, or?
I think if you're pairing a flat brim with the New York.
Yeah. Proper snapback with that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Nice.
Or fitted.
Good stuff. This is coming together already. And so you've got the Sims, we've got the hats, you've got obviously, it's going to be wearing a jersey. And I think, for this, it should be a home jersey in I think most cases. It's going to be at the home stadium, isn't it? So the light blue, the iconic one, as beautiful as the new shirt is. And I think it really is something that it's very special. And as I was mentioning to you guys beforehand, that I'm going to get my hands on one some way or another. It's going to happen. So
maybe for Nike, the pigeon can bust out the new Nike kit. But, the iconic blue definitely has to fly.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Now, I think the next, maybe last thing actually that we need for this mascot is a name. And now names in mascots nearly always hark back to a story or a element of the club, or something cult-like, in the history of the club, but not always the most obvious thing either. So what do you guys think? What would you like to see a nod to in the name?
I think there's a few different ways that you could go with it. I like the idea of potentially doing it after a player, but then I almost feel like you get into the territory of standing up a player bigger than the club itself,
right.
which is a tricky way to go. But if we had to go that way, I think it's hard because he's still with the team, so it makes it a little bit weird. But like Maxi would most likely be who makes the most sense. Or you call back to Collins hitting that pen to give us kind of the most glory that we've had as a club to this point.
Yeah, I wonder if they would kind of, I'm thinking more in terms of if this was reality and, what the club would do. I think that they may go like kind of a sponsor route and name it, something like that. But I don't know that I would pick a former player because, like you said, it does prop up, a player over the club, and I don't know that we've necessarily had any players that would last. We're talking hundreds of years from now. Hopefully, that, this club lasts. You want something that calls back to the beginning, but will also last, the duration of an entire, span of a club. So,
it might be a good one. So historically in Yankee Stadium, it's been our goal song has been what's the name? But it's by the Ramones. You know what I'm talking about? Remember we were trying to figure out if we could get licensing for the song, but if you heard it, we'll send you the name afterwards if we think of it, and maybe you can get off a little bit of it. But maybe naming the pigeon Ramon, because I believe, and because Michael Allen was talking about it too when we were just there when we finally scored our first goal of the season yesterday. They didn't play it.
Yeah,
and it was like, why? This is the first time that hasn't happened ever in 10 years of soccer. So maybe if that's on the out, I think that's been something that people have kind of gravitated towards, and maybe you give a nod to scoring goals in New York with Ramon the Pigeon.
I like that a lot.
Yeah,
Ramon the Pigeon. Yeah,
that's really cool. Yeah, that's really tying in to it as well. Yeah, to the song, something that's been long lasting, and it's a good name. It's a good name that people will go, yeah, Ramon. That's cool. They won't even question it because it's not so outlandish. Did you find it, sorry?
Yeah, Blitzkrieg Bop.
Nice. Well, that's a brilliant name for a song.
Yeah, classic. Shame on me for forgetting the name, but a classic, even if you don't count its involvement with scoring every home goal there.
Yeah, Ramon, that was sick.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
That's awesome. So that's what's going on the back of the shirt. What number?
Probably maybe
21.
21 for the championship.
A nod to the championship.
I was going to say 15.
Oh, nice. Yes, of course.
It also could be 15 for the founding of the club.
That's true.
Yeah. One of those two would make a lot of sense.
15 might make more sense because the goal is to
have multiple championships.
Right? Good point. Hopefully this isn't the last one, right? Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Although there's nothing like the first time.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, that is important. That's emblazoned on the history. But the 15, okay, that might work. I can see how that's going to be. That's going to go right through the thing there. Okay, actually, this is the last thing. So, what's it going to do? Is it going to be kind of a goofball kind of thing there? Is it going to be doing dancing? Is it going to? Oh, this is a thing, right?
Yeah. So Tati, who was our Golden Boot winner. He obviously led us to our championship. He had the celebration. I don't know what it derives from. I guess
I think it's a little bit of Dybala and a little bit of his own mixture to it.
Yeah, added in a salute. But if you had to go with something that Tati Selly, it doesn't get old.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Or like Hey Bear.
Oh yeah, well it's a pigeon, so it doesn't have.
Yeah, it doesn't have.
Oh yeah, we might. Yeah, we're making a bit of fun on it. You know, so,
So like this one you can do with wings.
Yeah.
But
we could do a thumb if you wanted to do that as well. Yeah, that's cool. What's that one called?
Let's just say Bear's like
Hey Bear.
Yeah. Hey Bear was the name of the player that did it.
Oh, I see.
Like,
That's what they were saying. Yes.
I guess culturally, I don't know. They call it like hang loose, so it's like a Hawaiian kind of type of thing. But yeah, he would just score and rip those. So
we can do both. That's good.
Yeah,
that's good. We can go different sections of the crowd and do that back. I like that. This is really
like a samba or like a cha-cha or something, because we have a pretty, at least now, our history isn't that old, but we have a pretty extensive history of Brazilians and South Americans in the club, and ripping those kind of dances after goals as a unit has been something that has happened often.
Definitely.
That's correct. Yeah, I like that. I like a nod to that as well. That's going to work really, really nicely, actually. Yeah, I think that's it. I think we've solved it. We've smashed it. I think that was there was barely any controversy or argument in there, was it? It was just kind of straight down the line, and we've got exactly what we want. So this is what it's going to be. So I'm going to have that on screen, and what I'm going to do is, you guys can't see it now, but I'm going to send it to you, and let me know what you think.
Absolutely,
definitely. We'll have to do that. Yeah.
Good stuff. Thank you so much, guys. And that's just to reiterate, Adam and Justin, Post 90 Pod. Where can people find you online?
Pretty much anywhere you listen to your podcast. If you do, Apple Pods, Spotify. We're pretty active on Twitter, or X now, at Post 90 Pod. So you search that, you'll probably find us somewhere.
Definitely.
Yep, fantastic. You were tweeting during the game yesterday. I was looking at your tweets yesterday. So yeah, pretty active on there as well. So yeah, please give these guys a follow and seek them out, because very, very cool. Yeah, thanks again, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure to see you.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having us.
Over the NYCFC Mascot stuff, so we're gonna rip it open. First reactions right now.
Damn.
That's crazy.
Oh wait, I haven't even read the other one.
Oh, there's two. Oh no, that is it.
That hat is crazy.
The monogram on the pigeon.
The purple on the scruff.
And the Timbs.
That could be considered a Post 90 logo.
Oh, I was gonna say it looked a little city-ish to me.
That looks like it could be our logo.
It is.
The Timbs is crazy.
The Timbs is
so
crazy.
Funny.
And then we got. Oh no!
That is so sick.
All right, I took the finger off the button when we saw the pigeon ripping the Tati. Have to react to the Ramon too. Right, hit the nail on the head with that one. Yeah. Obviously, the nod to the goal song is crazy. And just have to thank Tom again for the time, for the illustrations. He kills it.
To be able to do that overnight is crazy.
That's talent.
So
that's talent.
To that level, that's insane. The Tati one, that's infamous. That's got to be in the rotation.
That's like a
tweetable image.
That's like a phone background for me.
Sick.
Yeah. So thank you again. We appreciate it. Hope to connect in the future.
Yeah. Check out all the rest of his content.